so to speak. Okay, so um, we are going to be talking health and well-being in hour 3 today, just ahead of, well, Halloween and all the not so healthy, what Coach E used to call the holidays are upon us. And we'll be talking with Dr. Akani Salako. Of course, we start off hour 2 with Mindful Mondays. Sahara Ali, a meditation instructor, yoga teacher, and sound bath specialist, joins us to get the hour started, set our week off right with good intentions and solid foundations, guided meditation. And then we open up the phone lines. Well, the phone lines are actually open now. They're always open on my show. You know that. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. But it is time for my partner in politics for the first Monday of the month. She works in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, from education and economic justice to public health, environmental justice, child welfare, and juvenile justice. She is an activist, a mama, a professor, and a consultant. LaMikia Castillo, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So excited to be on with you today. So much to talk about.
Yeah, so there really, really is, as usual. And I always invite folks, if you want to be in the agenda, that's good. We got plenty of stuff. We got lists on top of lists of things we'd like to talk about. Or if you've got something you would like to bring up, we welcome that as well. So, yeah, it's getting cold. It feels like, okay, I know people in the East Coast are laughing at me right now, but it's LA fall. It's LA fall right now for sure. It feels like you need a coat, a very light coat,
Yes.
but a coat nonetheless.
Yes. I'm actually, so I was
go
going to say,
ahead.
I'm on the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast right now. I'm in Washington, D.C., calling in today. So I missed being with you in the studio, but I felt the difference when I left last week from
Yeah.
LA. I was like, oh, it's so cold. And then here in D.C., it feels like LA.
Really? I
Yeah,
usually
it's pretty
think,
warm out.
wow, must be all the feds running around over there heating things
Right,
up.
right. Heating things up.
Heating things up. Well, it is the 6th of October, which means we went back and around about this, but it turns out it's just 7 days before, well, really 6 days before the governor's deadline to either sign or veto everything that is on his desk. And there's a bunch of important stuff on there, not the least of which is AB 715. I know you feel strongly about this, being a professor and a mom. What are your thoughts? Explain how you see AB 15.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know about AB, you said 715, right?
715, yes. Sorry.
Sorry, this is my brain on the East Coast. So yes, if you don't know about AB 715, you should definitely be aware of what it does and what it would do if the governor does sign it. And so it's a piece of legislation that is masked as a civil rights bill, right? It supposedly is to make sure that we're protecting people from anti-Semitism with their religious rights. But as everything else that we see going on these days regarding quote unquote anti-Semitism, it's really just a bill that's supposed to prevent people from having an opinion about what's going on with the genocide in Palestine. So even me calling what's happening in Palestine right now a genocide, if I were to say that in the classroom and this bill were passed and there was a student in my classroom who felt that I was attacking them because of their religious beliefs, I could be under investigation for saying this is a genocide against Palestinian people. It's been pushed by conservatives, and so to see that the state of California is moving it through so quickly is extremely concerning, but not surprising given the current climate around what's been going on with Israel and the murders and the genocide that's taking place in Palestine.
It's crazy too, because while the federal government has dismantled the civil rights branch of the Department of Justice, the only thing that they are currently prosecuting is so-called anti-Semitism. And I say so-called because those of us on the left, those of us who believe in justice, have never been down with anti Semitism, real anti Semitism, the kind that discriminates against Jewish people or the Jewish faith. But it's interesting, it's illegal to be black. DEI is illegal. You can't protect the rights of black people or fight anti-blackness, but you can fire people, ruin their careers, expel students for this fake anti-Semitism, which is really the critique of Israel.
That's literally what it is. It's the critique of Israel. If you say anything against Israel, all of a sudden you're an anti-Semite, which nowhere in the rest of the world does anybody consider any critique against a government, and particularly the Israeli government, a person being anti-Semitic because of that. So this is really, really dangerous. If this were to pass in the state of California, I don't see how we look any different than what is happening at the federal level, as you mentioned, with professors and deans and presidents of universities being targeted because of them allowing students to exercise their right to free speech, to say, hey, we don't support what's going on in Israel. We don't want our dollars, our taxpayer dollars, to go to a genocide. We don't support, Palestine being wiped out in order for Netanyahu to have his wet dreams met. I mean, that's really what's happening here. And I don't think enough people are aware of the potential ramifications of this.
Maybe I'm deluding myself. It's possible that I am. I don't think the governor's going to sign this. If he does, he's really a hypocrite because he just threatened to pull funding from any schools that go along with the MAGA pledge of loyalty, fealty, right? So how crazy would it be for him to do that and then sign AB 715? But to be clear, this bill, which is like you said it so perfectly, a fake civil rights bill is really what it is. It reminds me of Prop 209 in the sense that they disguise something really bad as so-called civil rights. They take away your rights and call it civil rights. It's that 1984 Big Brother stuff. How hypocritical would he be to sign this after swearing to punish schools that fall in line with the Trump administration? I'm optimistic that he won't because of that, but we'll see, because a lot of weird things are happening right now. And to be clear, for those who think it's just only the very far left that are against this, the teachers unions are all against it. All of the civil rights groups, education groups, Muslim Arab groups, progressive Jewish groups all say no to this. But yet, our spineless legislature passed it.
Yeah, again, the fact that it made it this far is pretty concerning, and I would hope that the governor wouldn't sign on. And I lean towards optimism like you, but like you said, there's a lot of strange things happening. I've mentioned this on the show before, but I've actually been to Palestine. I've been to Israel. I've seen things that are happening on the ground in real time, and I can tell you that anybody who says, I have concerns about Israel and I don't support what they're doing because this is a genocide, that is real. That is exactly what's happening. It's been going on for decades, right? There's been an attempt to erase Palestinian identity, culture, and at this point, to completely eliminate the people off the face of the planet. That's what Netanyahu is doing. So, at the same time, though, right, I could see, because we live in the state of California, that there may be pressure from certain organizations that are Zionists. They are. They give a lot of money to elected officials, and they put pressure on elected officials to support the state of Israel and the ways that things are happening right now with Netanyahu. So I could see that being at play behind the scenes. I have no idea, but that's the thing that gives me pause, and I hope that that Governor Newsom stands up against this and says we're not going to stand for this in California, because that would be hypocritical.
It would be crazy. And we can call the governor. There's some reparations bills. We talked about it at length on Friday. If you missed it, I would urge you to go to YouTube under KBLA 1580, where we're streaming live right now, but all of our catalog shows are there, and hear the conversation with me and Jasmine Canick about all of the various bills on the governor's desk. If you're not up on them, you can also look at the various reparations groups' websites. Some of it's confusing, some of it's not so confusing, But whatever you're doing with reparations, I would really urge you to tell the governor to vote to not sign 715. AB 715, the fake civil rights bill, is a threat to teachers, to kids, to it's really censorship is what it is. It's a censor teachers and students bill is what they should call it. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. The sheriff's race is already heating up, and it's not even on the ballot until next summer, but they're already throwing lobs at each other and slinging mud. We'll look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493.
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
LaMikia. He's back, and I am talking about Alex Villanueva, the MAGA, mini MAGA. I only call him that because he's short, not because he's less MAGA than somebody else. The former sheriff wants to be sheriff again, and sure, he's got a lot of money. He tried to be on the board of supervisors, got his butt kicked by Jan Perry. Now he's trying to make a comeback and get his position back. Of course, Robert Luna replaced Jim McDonald. Jim McDonald won't be running because he is currently the Los Angeles police chief. But there's a long line of other folks that want to be sheriff, and they're already mudslinging. at one another. I know you have thoughts on this.
Oh Lord. When I saw that Alex Villanueva was trying his hat again and putting his hat in the ring, I just chuckled and then also thought, well, Donald Trump did this, right? He lost an election and came back, and here we are. And so I just don't take anything for granted, and didn't want to put it past him that there's a possibility that Villanueva, though many of us will scoff at that and say, "Are you kidding me?" People thought that about Donald Trump for this, and he's the president again, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And Elon Musk will probably back Villanueva. I don't know if he'll rig the voting machines for him like he allegedly did for Donald Trump, but that could be a problem.
It could very well be a problem. And even without that, though, I just think, everything is up in the air right now in this country. Fascism is real; it's alive, and it's a major threat. And Villanueva is somebody who has upheld fascist practices. He literally was the head of the gang, the sheriff's gang. Nobody's been held accountable for a sheriff's gang in LA County, right? I have some concerns. I think that this man could really, he could get some support. He probably, I'm sure he already has supporters. Janiton did whip his butt in the county supervisor election that took place. Yes, and thankfully so. But people have different perspectives on law enforcement for whatever reason, right? I'm an abolitionist. Everybody who listens to us on the first Mondays know that. There are a lot of folks who want quote unquote law and order. They have looked past the fact that we have the LA sheriff's gang and that Villanueva was part of it, and he was, masking what was going on, and then also proudly wearing his tattoos for these gangs. And they think, we need somebody who's going to be tough on crime. I don't agree with that perspective at all, but I see people who have swung in that direction many times over, and I think I see that happening to an extent right now. And so I don't know. I think we got to double down, triple down to try to make sure this man doesn't get in office. I mean, Robert Luna has his own set of issues, right? We have 26 people who died in LA County jails alone, and that was only up till July. I don't even know until October how many more folks have died in LA County jails. That is under the sheriff's jurisdiction. That's more than most years to record on date, like over the past several years. And so we have all kinds of issues. That's why I say abolish, defund the police, including the sheriffs. But we got to watch this closely. We got to watch this election very closely.
I think you're right, because I mean, it's easy to laugh at him because he's so he's just so over the top with the things he says and does. But they passed Prop 36, and the legislation to end slavery in California did not make it out of the state legislature onto the governor's desk. But AB 715 did. So, and they elected Nathan Hochman. So we don't know what could happen. And I think that 1-2 punch, 1-2-3 punch, prosecutor Bill Asaley, DA Nathan Hochman, and Sheriff Alex Villanueva would be something terrible to see for LA County.
Oh, absolutely. And then when you couple that with what we see with the ICE raid taking place, I'm really worried about what this could look like and feel like, and what could happen. I think many of us are pushing to make sure that Nathan Hochman didn't get elected. He was elected.
Yeah.
So I just have worries. I'm really curious about what the listeners think and feel about this.
Yeah, well,
I want people to call in to talk about this because, I have members in my own family who are folks who were formerly incarcerated and still feel like, what though? We have these young people out here who are what do they call them? The smash and grabs. We're having smash and grabs. We need law enforcement to keep them from doing those things. And so they folks who've been incarcerated are saying we need to have more, tough on crime practices and policies in our city and our county. And it's those folks who I get really worried about, because they know what that experience is like to be incarcerated, to have, experience, police profiling, racial profiling against Black men and women in the city of LA and the county of LA. And they look at, what's going on with with crime rates, even though the crime is down, and then they think, oh, we need tough on crime policies. Let's bring in somebody who's going to really make sure these young people are getting, the kind of punishments that they deserve for what they're doing. And that's mind blowing to me. But if that's happening in my family, where folks are a lot more left leaning, I can't even imagine what that means for folks who are not in the same kind of political leaning as the folks that I love.
Well, yeah, I think that's right. And people are deluding themselves. I know a lot of justice-involved individuals that are still supporting Trump because he pardoned Lil Wayne, or because of Kodak Black, or any number of other not good reasons that make them think that he's backing up the justice-involved persons. But I also believe right now, LaMikia, with these ICE raids and the fact that the president said he was going after criminals, but he's going after car wash workers, is shifting a lot of people's perspective. Now, we already have this going on where people are being kidnapped off the street. We saw what's been going on in Chicago. It's insane. Helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters, and federal agents rappelling down buildings to grab little children and put them in tie them up, zip ties. I hope that is shifting the public's perspective away from this extreme suppression model. But I could be wrong. I really didn't think we were going to pass Prop 36. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either. And I think you're right. As we see what's going on, I think people's perspectives are being changed. I don't know how much that impacts in terms of the local politics and what the message is about, the need for more law enforcement in LA because of these, smash and grabs and young people being out of control and unruly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right. Molly Bell says, I still don't believe the turnout of this past election, but it is what it is. Trump would run amok in California if this happens. Worried. Yes, to 100%. Yeah, same. Look, we've got news, traffic, and sports right here. And then we welcome your comments. As LaMikia said, 800-920-1580, or hop on YouTube at KBLA 1580 and join the comments in the section where the conversation is going down every Monday. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Appearing on CNN's State of the Union, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is slamming President Trump's immigration crackdown in Chicago.
They are the ones that are making it a war zone. They need to get out of Chicago. If they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do, they need to get the heck out.
Pritzker calls it a manufactured performance and vows legal action. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries warns millions could lose health coverage if ACA tax credits aren't renewed. President Trump and GOP leaders say they won't fund health care in the stopgap bill. And breaking barriers in a male-dominated field, Black private investigator Brianne Joseph is gaining global attention through her new role in Netflix's hit series Love Con Revenge. The show debuted in September and has held the top 3 national ranking every week since. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Chargers lost their second straight game after a 3-0 start. Magic Johnson's Washington Commanders rolled up in the SoFi Stadium Sunday and dominated the Chargers 27-10. Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, back in the lineup after missing 2 weeks with a sprained left knee, threw for 231 yards and a touchdown. After the game, the San Bernardino native was spotted giving a tender handshake to USC women's basketball star Juju Watkins. The Dodgers are back in action today in Philadelphia for Game 2 of their divisional round playoff series. The Dodgers have a 1-0 lead in the best of 7. First pitch at 3 p.m. Pacific time on TBS. UCLA's 42-37 upset win over Penn State Saturday knocked Penn State out of the top 25 rankings. Penn State was ranked 7th in the nation when they walked into the Rose Bowl Saturday morning. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA listeners. This is Dr. Paul Wallace. I want to discuss a type of eczema called atopic dermatitis, which is often misdiagnosed in Black children and adults. Atopic dermatitis is an autoimmune disorder that can be accompanied by food allergies, hay fever, and asthma. This rash targets the inner arms, behind the knees, and face, but can go all over the body. It causes excessive dryness and 24/7 itching. It's the scratching and steroid use that leads to permanent scarring. I'm enrolling patients in a new clinical research study focused on better treatment options for atopic dermatitis. Of course, your medication and travel reimbursements are provided. To see if you qualify, visit dermstudies.com or call us at 323-296-0048. That's 323-296-0048. There's nothing worse than itching. Let's take the next step in controlling this problem.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. I do thank you. You know, I don't take you for granted. I really don't. And I am always honored to be on this microphone, honored to have LaMikia Castillo on with me. I wanted to also add regarding this whole, AB 715 situation that there is a pushback from the right, which I find fascinating. The fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens have now started talking about AIPAC all day and how that lobbying group doesn't have to register as a foreign lobbyist group and how much influence they have on the various politicians. Somewhat it's been increased by the death of Charlie Kirk, which some on the right who don't even believe is dead. I mean, it's just wild. The conversation that's going on in the right and the splintering of conservatives around Israel right now, I think is pretty significant.
It is very significant, and I think it's very interesting that this is taking place right now. And I've been having some conversations with folks about why this might be. And the folks that you just mentioned, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, and others, I think that the reason why they are moving in this direction is because of their, they're nativists. They're very strong, staunch, like America first. And when you look at the budget and how much money is going to Israel because of the influence of AIPAC on, our political system here in this country, when you say, I'm America first, and we need to get rid of immigrants, and we need to not put, money towards things that don't support Americans. And then you look at what's really going on with how much of our taxpayer dollars goes to Israel. It's interesting and surprising to see that this conversation is happening, but I think it makes sense given, what folks stand for in terms of, it's all about our country first, and our money should go to our people first. And so if they really strongly feel that way, even if I don't agree with them on so much of pretty much anything of what they say, it's interesting and not surprising that these women would be the ones who are putting this forward, because they see where the resources are going and they're not in agreement. I could be wrong about that, but that's the only way I'm making sense of this.
I think that's a part of it. Dr. Joe Horn brought up some really interesting point about this, which is he said it's partly religious. It's partly the old religious wars. Now, Candace Owens is Catholic. I don't know about Megyn Kelly and Marjorie Taylor Greene, but he was saying part of it is the old split between, the Catholics and the Protestants, the old European religious gangbanging that's partly behind this split, along with what you just said, the America First. But you don't hear them complaining about $20 billion going to Argentina, for example. You do hear them complaining about Ukraine. And while I think it's right for us to support Ukraine against the encroachment of Russia, I think we're doing too much in terms of the blank check that we've been writing. So it's weird, because I feel like the America First thing is very selective. Fine, send, bail out Argentina, fine, send money, to European countries. Oh no, don't send it to Ukraine for some reason. And to your point, Israel. So
I just have to say, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
It's just
what's I think.
Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about that is these folks are also the ones who are saying, get rid of these folks who have been pro-Palestine and initiated these protests last year. So I don't know. I mean, I can hear the argument about the religious gangbanging between the Protestant and the Catholic belief systems. I identify as Christian myself. But I just, there's something there that it's new. I don't know. It seems like it has to be a little more nuanced than that, because how can you go and say, kick people out of the country, deport them if they're students who were protesting against Israel and being, pro-Palestinian, but then on the other hand, say AIPAC needs to get their money out of here. And we have some questions about this. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of splintering on the right around the free speech issue too, because there was pushback from some of the right-wing influencers around Brandon
like
Carr, the FCC chair, right? Calling out so-called anti-Semitism and demanding the firing of Jimmy Kimmel. Remember, some of the right wing said, stop, because when Dems get back in power, they're going to use this against us. And so while I don't see them standing up for, Khalil, I do think that this division among the right is good in the sense that it is forcing some people outside of the justice, community, outside of the progressive community, to confront what free speech really means and why they care about it, and to confront the hypocrisy and the slaughter, the genocide in Gaza. So even if, to your point, we disagree with these folks on everything under the sun, maybe it creates enough sunlight to where some folks on the right will open their eyes about what's happening in Gaza, and will open their eyes about the repression of speech and thought that's going on right now under the guise of stopping anti-Semitism.
Let's hope so. Interestingly, Dominique, for some reason in my news feed on social media, on Instagram recently, I've been seeing these posts of white women who are from very conservative. They identify their own family members as rednecks. They said that they're uneducated rednecks, but they can build you a house, right? That's what one of the women said. And I don't know why this started showing up in my news feed, but there's this conversation that's happening around, hey, folks who are in this category who voted for Trump, they were, very big MAGA folks before. Men in particular are shifting their perspective because of what you just mentioned, right? So they're seeing the cracks now. They have concerns about, freedom of speech. Like, okay, we don't agree with Jimmy Kimmel, but if you take him off the air, imagine what that means for, when Democrats get back into office, what are they going to do to our people? And then also because of Charlie Kirk's murder.
Yeah.
Right. And Charlie, they're looking at all kinds of things like, these are men who carry guns and they're hunters and they know exactly what kind of gun that was and what that could have done and should have done and how it didn't make sense. And so it's all these interesting conspiracy theories, if you will, that I'm seeing taking place. Again, I don't know why this started showing up in my newsfeed recently, but it's been an interesting little rabbit hole that I've gone down. And to see, I normally wouldn't do this, but I had a lot of time on my hands on this flight to DC. This past week, I had a 5-hour flight, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, is this really what's going on in places that I have no connection to? So I just thought I'd bring that in the conversation, even though I don't have any, awareness of it from my own personal life experience, but just seeing that or hearing you say what you said about maybe there's some splinters happening and maybe some light is coming in and people can see that the story that's been told to us is not actually the full truth. It seems to be that there are at least some folks, some younger women who are like, hey, my dad is changing his perspective, and I see more of the men in my community changing their perspective because of these specific things.
Yeah, wow. As you said, it seems like there's even more than usual going on right now. A couple things we'll touch on when we come forward. A judge is blocking Trump from sending California National Guard troops or any National Guard troops to Oregon as the terror in Chicago continues. Plus, we're about to just spend a whole bunch of money, billions and billions of dollars on the LA Convention Center. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this, LaMikia. They say it's going to cost $2.6 billion. City Council already approved it. That actually means $5.9 billion. When you count how much it costs to borrow the money. It's not the first time we've sunk a whole bunch of money into this convention center, but we are in a real budget crunch where city services are threatened, even though the mayor said she has been able to negotiate some concessions from unions and therefore no layoffs are going to happen in the city right now. But that's this year. Who knows what next year brings? Looking to hear your thoughts on that. And, of course, KBLA delegation always invited in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima. With me, LaMikia Castillo. That's Miles Lowe chilling back there on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-259-9922. 800-259-9922. That's 800-259-9922.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Yeah, budgets are moral documents. That's what Dr. King said. Tavis Smiley always quotes it. Certainly, it's been at the bedrock of some of the activism you've been involved in, the people's budget and such, where we've taken that to a pretty high level here in LA County and pushed the care first agenda, care not cops. And now it's maybe care not convention centers. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, you want the business to come into LA. You want our conventions and, from comic conventions to business ones, they bring opportunity. They bring money into the city. On the other hand, why is it always the public dollars? Where is the private money to, I don't see, from what I've read, these things do not pay for themselves. So it is a subsidizing of the tourism industry, a subsidizing of this facility by the taxpayers. And City Council approved $2.5 billion. Karen Bass signed it, Mayor Bass. And I think it's going to take us decades to pay this off. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but we just finished paying off the one we did in 1985 to fix the convention center. So I imagine it'll be at least as long as that to pay it off.
Yeah. So I'm an urban planner, right? And
oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that, LaMikia.
Yes. So when I look at projects like this, I look at them from the perspective of how is this going to benefit community? How quickly is it going to benefit the community? And when you look at this particular project, like you mentioned, it's going to take over 25 years before there's any kind of return on the investment that's being made. And you expect that. You expect we make investments now so that we can have, generate some kind of positive net return for the community, but you don't want to have to wait that long for it. And like when you think about why we came up with the People's Budget LA in the first place, it was to say community members should be able to decide how we want to spend our money, to make those determinations, make those decisions for ourselves about what we want to invest in now that's going to give us the yield on the return that we want to have in the future, right? And that's why when we look at where people want to put the dollars now, it's not toward things like the convention center so that we can have a nice convention center for when the Olympics comes in 2028. We do want to, I think people in the community recognize that when you have businesses that are thriving, that are owned and driven by the community, not these, huge conglomerates that are not based here, that don't necessarily care about who we are or are not investing in us, like you said, right? When we don't have the private sector making those investments, they're making a lot of money off of us, but not necessarily getting back to the community, and we're fronting the bill. That's when you have this pushback from the community. And that's why community members are, from what I've seen, upset about the convention center's expansion, because one, we didn't have a say in this. We didn't get to say, yeah, we want to have the convention center be expanded, or, you know what, let's not expand the convention center right now. Let's just fix it up to make it a little bit nicer so that we can, be good hosts to the folks who are coming. If you support the Olympics coming, because there are a lot of people who don't want the Olympics to come to LA.
I know they don't. But I'm not one of those people. I know they don't, because I know the fears and stuff. But I love the Olympics for many reasons, which we don't have to go into right now. I don't know where you are on it. I know a lot of my progressive friends are on that no Olympics team, but I can't join you on that, friends. I love the Olympics. I'm glad they're coming here. I love the camaraderie, the athleticism, the beauty, the inspiration.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, especially having young kids, I absolutely love the camaraderie. I'm excited about them being able to experience this in their own city, right? Like, how often do folks get to have that? And I know that from a historical perspective, when we had the Olympics in, I think it was 1984, right? That what that meant was homeless folks were pushed out even further. That people were being criminalized at higher rates. More people were being arrested at that time in order to quote unquote clean up the city. And there were promises that were made. I mean, we got the great Olympic pool and all of that over for residents in South LA, but folks didn't get to benefit from that. And so I think there's a way to do this in which you get all of the beautiful, excitement that comes with the Olympics and the pride that comes with that for our city, and bringing people together to enjoy the sports and the camaraderie. And it could benefit residents as well.
But
I don't
to
see
be
us heading
fair,
that
I mean, you
direction.
got the LA 84 Foundation, which is still functioning, which has been funding youth sports ever since 1985 with money we made off the Olympics with an endowment. So while I agree with you about the criminalization of the houseless, and hopefully we'll still have Mayor Bass in 2028, so it wouldn't be as bad as under a previous mayor, but we'll see. That's going to be up to us to make sure that doesn't happen. But the community does benefit. I mean, the football programs, after school programs, the renovation of all kinds of sports facilities all over LA. Why do I know that? I was the videographer for the LA 84 Foundation, and I've seen almost every single thing. And it was it was a cold call. It's not like I knew the people, but I've seen what they do. And we don't know if we can do that again. But we were the only city to ever make money off of the Olympics. But I mean, we'll see if we can do that again. We're perhaps more chaotic now than we were then. I do see your point about the convention center, and the city's own advisors were saying, this is going to take money away from other city services, which is a problem, in my opinion. But it was an 11-2 vote, and we're moving forward. They're claiming some parts of it will be ready for 2028. I'll believe it when I see it, because now we're hearing that the so-called people mover won't even be ready in time for the Olympics, which makes me roll my eyes and say, what a waste of money. And maybe you can answer this question, since you're an urban planner. Why can't they kick these contractors in the butt, or add more workers or something, and get this crap done? Why? I mean, I understand why I can't get it done on my house when I get contractors, but why can't the city?
I wish I could answer that question. And honestly, there's urban planner by training. I'm not a person who works in the city planning department, and I there's a lot of red tape that's, and I don't know what else to say about that. I'm with you. It's a pain in the butt to see. It's a waste of resources. And I just feel like there has to be greater competence in that space and pushback on these developers. That's really what it has to be. There needs to be putting people's feet to the fire, holding them accountable. And then honestly, like withholding future contracts from some of these developers who get a lot of contracts from the city and then don't, come through on their end of the bargain. I know we only have a couple minutes, but there are lots of organizations in the city of LA, like Los Angeles Alliance for a New Economy and others, who have always advocated for community benefits agreements when projects like this come into play, to make sure that there are, like you said, we're able to generate revenue off of things like the Olympics coming into our city. The city doesn't always align with that, right? Because they give a lot of concessions to developers. And I think that if more community members push for community benefits agreements, that we might be able to see, the city holding these developers accountable to the things that they say they're going to do, because otherwise we're not going to work with you anymore. And LA is one of the largest cities in the world. So if you can't get a contract here, good luck finding some business someplace else that's going to generate you a private company, the type of revenue that you get from the city from partnering with us.
Yeah, great points. Really great points. It's one of the reasons why I don't believe developers should be allowed to contribute to city council campaigns.
I agree with that 100%.
We got a minute and a half here, LaMikia Castillo. What would you like to say? I'm handing you the mic.
Ooh, what would I like to say? I would like to say that
I
don't even know what I want to say.
Okay, well, I'll say,
Dominique.
okay, let's circle back. Let's call the governor. I mean, it's too late about the convention center. They've signed the doggone thing. So I guess we can show up, as you said, as advocates for, public benefit. But when it comes to things like AB 715, it's not too late. We got, 7 days to call or write the governor.
Yeah, so ask the governor to veto. Thank you, Dominique. I'm having a major brain fart right now.
Oh, well, yes. Sorry, it's Monday. You said, I know we don't have much time, so I felt like you had a lot of stuff to say about a lot of things, which I know you do. But I think right now we have a clear job as people who are progressives, which is sort out what's on the governor's desk in the next 7 days and weigh in.
Absolutely. Call them, tell them to veto 715.
Yeah, AB 715 for sure. Tell them where to find you on socials.
You can find me at LaMikia Castillo. That's LaMikia Castillo.
And she's actually posted a couple things. Go LaMikia. And I'm at DePrima Radio.
Trying.
Yeah. Well, you got kids. You got a lot going on. A lot of jobs, a lot of kids, a lot of activism. DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA. And we are at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. Mindful Mondays next. Let's get it together, y'all. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now, appearing on CNN State of